not writing enough. And we're going to talk about why that is and what to do about it. So at Copy Hackers, we're very data-driven. We work with a lot of tech startups, like people who are in Silicon Valley, fast-growing startups, and they're very data-driven. So everything we do has to be like data-driven as well. So when I'm talking to people in events like this or with clients, we get some of the same data points coming up again and again. Things you should be thinking about when you're writing copy or optimizing a site. We get stuff like this, and we heard this earlier, Talia said, it's only about 3 seconds on mobile, 10 seconds to leave an impression and tell visitors what they're going to get from you on your site. 10 seconds on average. This one came up in a webinar for me the other day. Joanna, the average visitor, only spends 15 seconds on her site. So I see data like that, and I'm like, what do you want me to do with that information? I don't know what to do with data points about the average visitor. It's kind of lost on me. I'm not trying to convert the average visitor. People who are trying to convert the average visitor get about a 2% conversion rate, which is how businesses go under again and again and again. We see it all the time. And again, I'm in the startup world, I see it all the time. Trying to convert all of these people. We're driving to our sites, we're so excited about them, but what are we actually saying? What are we actually doing to get them to say yes to us today? So when we take data points like your average visitor only has about 10 seconds on your site, and you've got 15 seconds to do X for them, it's problematic for me as a conversion-focused copywriter, because to me, I hear that and I think that is how you murder copy. We call it editing, but it really means murdering copy. It's the end of it. You take something that could be awesome and you work hard to make it average and you destroy it in the meantime, right? You absolutely take out all the good. Most of our first drafts of our copy are better than the third, fourth, fifth draft, and you know that if you've ever experienced writing by committee, which I have been part of for the last 14, a long time. A lot of years. I'm seeing that happen, going through the editing process and taking all the good, all of the convincing stuff out of the copy that you're writing on your websites and in your emails. And what's really bad here, I'll take this off the screen, I stole this from Talia, is that when you do that, you're really destroying the only thing that is actually there for the purpose of selling. Whatever selling looks like to you, whether that's lead generation on a land page or it's an actual effort to convert people with a paid conversion. When you do that, when you get rid of the words because you believe you're there to convert the average visitor, not your prospects, but the average visitor coming to your site, the average person, you destroy the copy, you murder that online salesperson, which you would never do in real life, but we have no problem doing it on our own sites. Now, when I'm talking about long copy, I'm not saying that you should be writing a long-form sales page, right? Those really offensive to most of us. Sales pages that go on and on and on and on. They convert very well in certain scenarios, but I'm not going to talk to you about writing a long-form sales page. We could, but I'm not going to. What I'm talking to you about is the things that you should avoid doing when you're writing regular things, like your homepage or a product page or your emails. You should not do things like this. And this, I'm going to show you a couple of random samples. I searched alternatives to Basecamp, and these are the landing pages for paid ads. They're paying people to look at these pages where you've got, I know you can't see that much, what you can see is there are not that many words on that page. And this is what a lot of us are doing, making your images do all the work. Or you write copy and you say, oh, nobody reads online, so we're just going to shove it in a video. We're going to use it now as a script. It's just going to go in the video. People love videos. And I'm not saying people don't love videos, but they also are trained to read. We are literate people. We can read online, and yes, we do read online. You should also not do this thing where you have, so the checklist aside, you have this, what little bit of copy is on the page, which you can see up at the top. There's that little bit there. All of their copy is crammed into this like unreadable lump. And then they look at you like, it's not converting. Like, shocker, no, nobody can read this giant lump of 5 sentences centered and spanning the entire page. That's not good. No one's going to read that, of course, right? So let's not do that. And let's not, this is the big one, summarizing everything into as few words as possible. For some reason, someone is spreading this myth that you have to pay for every word you use. You don't have to. Like, they're free. Like, you can use as many as you want to for free. So avoid the thing where you summarize what could be a really powerful message, like things that your customers say to you that takes a long time for them to get out, and you're like, great, that was brilliant, and then you go back to the boardroom and you just summarize it down to 6 words and hope it's going to do the job, and of course it won't, right? You're doing this thing where you're trying to please the average visitor, but you're not average. Nothing you're selling is average. You're just working so hard to sound average, to sound exactly like the person next to you, exactly like your competitors, and that's largely because there's real safety in that. It's safe. Everybody's saying the same thing. It's a safe place to be in, right? Problem is not that I'm a copywriter and I want you to write more copy. That's not why I'm standing up here. The reality is, with all those data points that are out there flying around, the 10 seconds, the 15 seconds, the 3 seconds, all of them good in some ways, what I'm worried about, because I work with businesses that don't want to go out of business, obviously, what I'm worried about is what those prospects are doing. What about the people you could actually move to say yes to you today? The real prospects, not the average people, forget them, but the ones that are close to saying yes to you, to signing up, to sticking around, and of course to buying. For those people, this is the scary data point for me. As many as 60% of sales are not lost to your competitors. They're not lost to anything more than just